Jason DeMoss. Charged with first-degree murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and reckless discharge of a firearm. Well, Jason, we can go about this a few ways. You could either admit to these charges, or you could wait for a lawyer appointed to you by the state, since it appears you don't have one. What's it gonna be?
I don't need a lawyer. I just want to be done with this.
Well, you should have thought about that before you shot a man point blank in the chest. I mean, what were you thinking?
He had it coming for a long time, officer.
You just admitted to premeditated murder now. Why, Jason? Why? Why would you do such a thing? That man was minding his own business. I mean, what? Did he just look like an easy target for you tonight? You look kind of vulnerable? That man could have had a family! You're going to jail. You're going to jail for a long time.
Officer, what's your name?
Officer Langston, badge number 435. Why? You want to speak with my supervisor? Well, guess what, buddy? Just like everybody else in this godforsaken police station, he's at home with his family for the holidays. Just like I like to be. But instead, I'm stuck in a freezing interrogation room with a convicted murderer.
I wish I could be with my family too, Officer Langston.
You'd do this if you had a family.
Had a family.
What do you mean had?
Look at my Steve. It's not gonna bite, Officer Langston.
What are these? What's going on?
Those are photos. Photos of my family. Every last close living relative I had are now immortalized in those photos, officer. You want to know what happened? Well, they were murdered.
By who? Jason. Did that man murder your family?
He hired hits on them and ordered every last one to be excruciating, painful, and disturbing as possible. And it's all my fault.
How so?
I lost my job.
Hands down!
My family and I were going to be homeless. I had to ask him for a loan, a big one. His name is Antonio Sanprez. I had to pay him back in 3 years in cash, or else he would come for me.
So why couldn't you?
I could! I saved every last penny I could. But we got robbed. I went to Antonio. I begged for forgiveness. But instead, he said my time was up. He had his people grab me and threw me out into the streets.
What about your family?
They were murdered! I walked into my house to see my wife and my 2 kids viciously torn to shreds.
Why didn't you come to the police?
No offense, officer, but your force would have done nothing to bring me justice. I was forced to take it into my own hands.
Then how do you know that?
I gathered evidence in the case that I didn't make it out alive, and I planned my assassination attempt.
No, you should have came to us first. You should have came to us with all the evidence that you gathered and let us handle it. You don't have to be chained here to a desk answering for these crimes. But you decided to take matters into your own hands. And now you screwed yourself over, you idiot.
There's nothing that you could have done. Antonio has to know people if he is going to get away with being in a crime syndicate.
And how do you know?
Because that's the beauty of our capitalist nation, officer. Live the American dream. All for the cost of your own soul. Don't you get it? Corruption is everywhere. From the murderers who brag their way out of prison to the pedophiles that are granted bail. The only punishment they receive is being put on a list. It's all a broken system.
Enough.
All you are, officer, is a cog in the machine. And one day, you'll pay for your part in this, just like everyone else. You'll understand. One day you'll understand.